it is eternity that gave birth to prosperity. Deuteronomy 8:18. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that gives thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which is swore unto thy fathers, as it is this day. You must have this understanding that you cannot make wealth happen. You can't. You don't have that power. It is only through the covenant of God that it happens. And understand this. It's not every area of the dimension that life covers that the covenant of God for you covers. You will understand this. The covenant of God, the land, the Canaan land that God promised the children of Israel, they will be able to extend their dominion to the all nations of the world through Canaan land, but there is a particular spot, a particular geographical location that is called Canaan land, the land of promise, that God promised them. If they went to it, they were coming from Egypt. God could have said, by covenant, cover this place, take it over. That's the reason why, number one, you first of all have to understand that wealth and riches are a covenant from God. And there are certain dimensions of life that that covenant covers. There are certain dimensions that they do not cover. You see chapter what? Of Acts chapter 7, chapter something, verse something. Where the Bible says that God has made all men through one man and has preordained the times in which they will live and the places where they will be. Is it Acts 17:26 or whatever? 17:26 or whatever. That God has determined 26 years. And hath made of one blood, or from one blood, or from Adam, all nations of men, for to dwell on the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed, and the bounds of their habitation. If you go to other translations, he has determined where they will live and what time they should be there. Which work you should do. Which areas you can cover. You cannot push through what God has not made happen. No. You can't. That's the reason why a lot of people that are wealthy today, because they were medical doctors, if they've been preachers, they may not have made it through. A lot of people that are famous today because they are preachers, if they've been musicians, probably you will not have had their name. So you must know where the covenant of God put you. So important. Very important. It is a covenant from God. And if it is a covenant from God, I have heard this from many people over the that you can for wealth and riches. I agree to an extent, but I don't think there is anything that comes from God that cannot be prayed for. There are three things that I know that can sustain this covenant of wealth and riches. It is from God. How do we know it is from God? It is him who said, let there be, let there be, let there be, let there be. If there was no let there be, could there be anything? It is that let there be that created all the riches we have on earth, isn't it? Hello? By faith we'll understand that the words, both the spiritual and physical world, were framed by the words of God. That the things that now appear were made out of the things that were not seen. Can you see? So the words you are looking at right now came out of what was not seen. So it's a covenant from God. He uses it to establish a covenant with you. When a child of God is wealthy and rich, it is a product of God's covenant. But three things that sustain the covenant. Number one is that if it is a covenant, that means it can be prayed for. Pray profusely. If it cannot be prayed for, then a lot of people who did rituals should not have gotten any money. It means that wealth and riches are spiritual. I've shown it to us anyway, that they are spiritual. So that means you can pray profusely. Don't fully listen. Listen a bit. But don't fully listen to anybody who says you cannot pray for wealth and riches. You can. And I can prove it to you from the scriptures. Go to Matthew chapter 8, verses 8 to 10. Matthew chapter 4, verses 8 to 10. Let's see the dialogue between Jesus and Satan. You can pray for wealth and riches. Lord, is a covenant from you. You can pray for it. I pray, Lord, give me, Lord, give me, Lord, give me, Lord, give me. Leave it to him whether he gives you or he does not give you. But we know in Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, they ask, it shall be given. And that asking could cover just anything. Seek, yes, I find. Knock, and the doors shall be opened unto you. For anyone who asks, receives. Anyone who knocks, the door is open. Anyone who seeks, find. If it is from God, it can be asked for. If wealth is from God, if riches are from God, they can be asked for. You can ask God to give you. And as a matter of fact, I've discovered this, that the extent to which you have been given by covenant, you can improve upon it by earthly, fleshly engagement. You didn't hear what I said. If they have made you 100 near, trying to do many things on the heart will not improve you to become 1,000 If they have made you 1,000 in the spirit realm, trying to improve, engaging all fleshly, whatever, they all come to zero. It is the extent to which you have been given in the spirit realm that you can go. That's the reason why, if they have not given you a church of 100 people, do ambience, do all the strategies. After everything, you will still have 20 people. No man can receive anything except it is given from above. If it is not given from above first, if you have not broken through in the place of prayer from a job of 30,000 to a job of 60,000, it won't happen to you by luck. Every job you meet, it will be around that 30,000 something. You won't be able to improve upon it. That's why Jesus said, can any one of you, by thinking, add a cubit to his stature? You can't add a cubit to your stature. So you can actually receive from God, widen your coast, enlarge the place of your territory in the spirit realm, in the place of prayers. Look at, and again the devil takes Jesus into an exceeding high mountain and show him all the kingdoms of this world, and the glory thereof. And said unto him, all these things will I give you if you would fall down and worship me. That's okay. And God told me that I should make you read this. Please read. Let's read again from verse 8. Again, the devil taketh him into an exceeding high mountain and show him all the kingdoms of this world and the glory of them. Go on. And said unto him, all these things will I give you if thou will fall down and worship me. And so, sorry to burst your bubble. God gives. The devil also, sorry. I know it's not good to compare God with the devil, but you know, if Jesus actually bowed down, there's a possibility it could be given. There are many people who are bowed down. It's only that the end will be north. There's a way that seems to a man, the end thereof are the ways of death. The end of it will be death. But actually, there are people who have sumptuously benefited from Satan, of his financial magnanimity, financial buoyancy. Yes, many people have built hospitals. As a matter of fact, many people have built churches. One man, they caught him recently, who went to use the wife of his friend to do ritual for people to actually be coming to the church. He was the one confessing. He's now in jail in Nigeria. He was the one confessing. And the now said, did he walk? He said he walked. Did people start coming? Yes. But what brought about how you were caught, the person we did it together didn't like the way sharing continues. And went to actually unravel the mystery to the law enforcement agent. And they actually asked them to go and search a particular point within the church. And they searched the place underneath and find the bones and did DNA and did everything. He said, we just went to a man that we want people to be coming to our church. And the man said, you have to do something. Yeah, the three of you came, you have to do something about, the two of you came, you have to do something about somebody's wife. And the man said, now that you have come to me, even though you don't want to do again, you cannot go without doing. Because my oracle has heard, except any one of you is going to die. So they have to tell the name of the person to give. He said, so we were forced. It's a spiritual thing. It can be asked of from God. That's why people who have it from the devil, they only sing one song or only bring out themselves a little bit, or do one thing or the one silly thing, and there's a lot of money. And you see that this guy is not that beautiful, but they're saying it's the Miss World. The way he's even catwalking looks like a gamma lizard. But he's making a lot of money. And you are wondering how. When they have gotten this covenant from Satan, there is no way the heart must respond. Just like a child of God can get this covenant from God, and the heart will respond. Are you listening to what I'm saying? So it's a covenant. Don't see, when you are praying for what, forget yourself. Just pray. Ask God for this. Ask God for that. Ask God for this. Ask God for that. It's one of the principal covenant practices that brings and sustains wealth. And let me tell you, when God gives you wealth and riches, and your prayers goes less, the same way the wealth comes, it goes. You can lose the job God gave you. Or they can reduce your salary in the job God gave you. They say, we're just planning for redundancy. We don't know because things are not happening in this place. But some people that can take salary cut from 52,000, they just say, oh, if you can, we can still retain you maybe later. We can reband, you can take 30,000. And you don't want to leave the job because you've been there for 15 years. And you need to get your pension. And it's not 30,000 because you're not praying. The same way you get it is the same way you must keep it. Just like I was watching a clip in the afternoon of a man who went to the devil to go and get some power to be able to get some influence. And the devil now said, okay, you have gotten this thing. And they say, let us be going. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. And Baba said, wait. I've not given you what you'll be doing to keep this thing. When the Baba started, say 12 noon, you must eat a particular thing. 3 in the afternoon again, you must lick a particular thing. 6, you must do a particular thing. 9 p.m., that's another thing. And they now said, you must be the last person to bath in your family every night. And you must wake up before 4 a.m. every day. The man said, he has died. That is there any way to die? No, they say no, there is no, that is permanent now. What they have done for them. But the day they do not do it, they have died. Are you listening to what I'm saying now? Now, God's covenant practices also have the things you must do and the things you must not do. Wealth comes from God. It is asked for originally. You cannot get it if you don't ask for it first. We saw the story of Solomon, 1 Kings chapter 3, which also encompasses the second principles of it. 1 Kings chapter 3, the Bible says, and Solomon made affinity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter, and brought her into the city of David, until he had made an end of building his own house, and the house of the Lord, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built into the name of the Lord until those days. Go on. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only sacrifice and burnt incense in high places. Go on. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice. Can you see? To sacrifice there. For that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offering did Solomon offer upon that altar. Go on. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And God said, ask, what has I give thee? And he actually asked for what produces riches, which is wisdom, idea. Let's even finish reading. And Solomon said, thou hast sold unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he walked before you in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with thee, and you have kept for him this great kindness, that you have given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I'm but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. You know, the labor of the foolish wearies them, for they do not know how to go into the city. So if you know how to go, if you have the know-how, you will get the juice. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which you have chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Go on. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon has asked. That was a prayer. Whether it's in the dream or physically, that was a prayer. Okay. And God said unto him, because you have asked this thing, and you have not asked for yourself long life, neither have you asked for riches for thyself, or has asked for life of your enemies, but has asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Go on. Behold, I have done according to thy word. Lo, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before, neither after shall there be any that rise like unto you. And I have also given you that which you have not asked for, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among kings like unto you all thy days. Can you see? He asked God to give him understanding heart. When you have understanding heart, what else remains? You have an understanding of how to rule the people. You have understanding of how to do business. By wisdom is an house built. God knows that if he did not tell him you will have riches, this guy was going to have it. But let us, so that he won't say, I got it by my wisdom. He will be able to say, God actually told me. And God said, you're going to have riches. You're going to have it more than people before you or after you. No king will be like you. Because he asked. In James, the Bible says, if anybody lacks wisdom, let him ask God. We give liberally. You know? James 1:5. If any one of you lack wisdom, let's even read James 1:5. Let's read James 1:5 to 10. There is something the Bible says there that is of interest. James 1:5 to 10. There's something the Bible says there that is of interest. He said, if any one of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that gives to all men liberally and upbraided not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers is like the wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. Go on. A double-minded is unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. Can you see? The man who didn't have wisdom, that's the brother of low degree. Hello? You know the meaning of low degree? When it was not school they were talking about, somebody who is low. Pocket is low. everything economically is low everywhere. He said, if you ask for wisdom, God will give you. You will be exalted from that being a low degree personality. If you prevail in the place of prayer, covenant will be delivered you. It's now another thing which we have been talking about. It's now another thing when you have prevailed in the place of prayers. A lot of things will have happened to you. You may not now know how to appropriate it or not. Like for instance, Theophilus Sunday, by means of prevalence in the spirit realm, is a worthy man. Do you know? He himself did not even know the extent of his worth. He has broken many bars, many records. We are praying here in Ireland. It's Theophilus Sunday we are using. In America, it's Theophilus Sunday you are using. What do you think? It's when your influence spread that money comes. Yes. You can do KFC in your house, but the influence of KFC has just so spread that it doesn't taste like KFC in your house, except you're in that shop. Somebody brings you to their house and prepares KFC and say, this is KFC, except it has the logo and the package. He said, he just gave me some food in his house. But if they take you to G Hotel, look at what they sold you. Grapes inside pepper, and it's per bowl 50 euro. But have you ever put grapes inside pepper in your own house? Never. You know your husband will slap you. You just put in front of him and say, food on it. But if you take him to G Hotel and say, I just want to treat you, and they put bowl in front of Godi, pepper and grape, and she say, thank you, my love, thank you. And it's 55 euro you spent. It's influence that brings money. And your influence spread in the spirit realm as you journey. Where you have journeyed to in the spirit realm, your influence has reached that level. On the heart. It doesn't now mean there are other apparatus, there are other things to do to appropriate them. This is a deep spiritual thing that I'm talking about. I can be correcting somebody, I can be whatever. There are people who are battling, who are trying to increase their stature physically. It can't be. It's easy for Theophilus Sundays to stand there and I will give him 4,000 euro and I will not feel any pain. But you ask me for 200 euro. It's with a lot of, I'm looking at him. Why is God laughing? No, it's influence that brings wealth. You need to understand what I'm saying. If Mike Tyson is here, he doesn't have to talk. You just want, oh, but can you give me your account? You won't even know when you give Mike Tyson. He also has influence. And you won't feel pain that you gave him. You will only give him paper, so sign your autograph. You go and hang it in your house, and you are very happy. It doesn't matter what anybody says to you. People used to touch Michael Jackson, and they are fainting. He didn't do anything. Himself is surprised. And they say, I'm doing a concert, this is it. Some people have paid about 100,000 to be in front. 100,000 pounds to be in front, in the front seat for that concert. Whereas that 100,000, some people have done 700 concerts. It's not up to 10,000 yet. And people came there, they say, can you give us ticket? 6 for 3 euro. It's where you have journeyed to in the spirit realm. It's where you have journeyed to in the spirit realm. Your journey in the spirit realm determines your speed on the earth. It's first of all spiritual. Wealth, riches are a covenant. All of the people that you see them commanding many crowds in their churches is a covenant. One man of God, Christian Center in Los Angeles, ever increasing faith ministry, Dr. Fred Price. He said, I know exactly how many people will come to the church because I've prayed them up in my spirit. And as a church of about 40,000 people that time, I think. He said, I know. He said, after praying them up, if your influence has not increased to a point of reaching 4,000 people, You'll be speaking, you'll be stammering. But you see people in the presence of 12 million and they are joking. They bring you to the presence of 7 people and you are sweating. He said, when I want to, he said, when I go to, I move to. And you just say, can I go? Can I go? Because you have not journeyed to that point in the spirit realm. You can't use any physical thing, to increase your level of wealth. This is the way I wrote it there, as given to me by God. The level of your breakthrough in the spirit is the level of your wealth on earth. If you appropriate it, you may not now appropriate it. Fleshly struggles on earth cannot improve on your lot spiritually. The spirit imposes controls over other realms. That's where Jesus said, Matthew 6:27, Matthew 2:67, Matthew 6:27. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? Which of you by taking thought? I wrote to one of my children today. I said, I know you're doing a lot of things physically, but it won't improve on your lot spiritually except you take spiritual things very seriously. You can be the most handsome dude and no girl wants you. They don't just know the reason why they don't want you. And you go to the best barber, just cause there's no, everybody that has breakthrough, you try to mimic their style and do it. And yet every time people see you, there's just a covering. I said I was looking for a wife. One lady was following me. My eyes saw it spiritually. Anywhere I was going, saying, No wonder many girls would like me. And they would say, I can't marry you. Anytime I enter the church, she will stay outside. It was the spirit of the dead. When I come out, she will follow me again. I saw this vision about 2 or 3 times. I said, So I had to engage the dead. And then, in less than 6 months, 3 young girls, they forgot to prove that you conquered the dead. One of them was 18, one was 19, one was 20. And the 3 of them were ready for me. They were all born again Christian, filled with the Holy Ghost, tongue talking, loving God. One came by herself, one I approached, one was brought by the parent and said, please marry her. Each one of them in the university. 2nd year, 1st year, 3rd year. Things will just be surplus than required when you are broken through in the spirit realm, over that realm. If you have not gotten something, you have not broken through about it in the spirit realm, go and press for it. Theophilus is not talking words, but is worthy. He himself may not know the extent, and he may not. We now need to teach him some few things to be able to appropriate the wealth, because some people have it, they don't know how to appropriate it. But it's already there anytime they want to appropriate it. It's different from somebody who wants to appropriate and it's not there. You want to do concert, nails are long, everything is long. You now get there, 10 people concert. You're not doing, oh baby, when you talk like that, you make some people go mad. My people are your people. Oh, you even do like this. Some of them, they don't. Some of them are even chewing gum. As you're there, oh, you don't like this. It's a weird though, what do you think? But somebody just comes, does some concert, sings just 3 minutes. They say, whoa, the voice alone, the voice alone. It's influence that conquers humans. It's influence that conquers humans. Where your fame has not gotten to spiritually, you can't travel there physically. You can't. You can't travel there physically. Don't take this very seriously. The message God actually want me to preach is bad, but God asked me to emphasize this. It was this evening. Stand in your place of your word. A woman does not have strategy for what. A Richman just opened an hospital now. That's literally billions of naira. On the heel of just completing over 1.5 billion naira complex, church complex, in a desert area where nothing really works. That guy is planning a university. He has a television station. He's planning a university. And he only talks about challenging spirit. And you see a lot of people teaching finance strategies, and they are dry. It's not about teaching it, it's about commanding these things spiritually. People who are worthy, they don't teach finance. Many of them don't teach finance. Many people who teach finance, they are not worthy. It's a lot of struggle. Just like people who teach church growth, a lot of them, they don't have church. People who don't teach church growth, they have church growth. That's the reason why. Have you ever seen where Pastor Adeboye is teaching and 7 serve to church growth? No. But no other church has grown like his own on earth today. The Redeemed Network. No other church, whether white or black. Because he conquered it spiritually. He's the only man that has ministered to 12 million people on one space. Gathered for an event. 12 million. And they are using truck to bring people who want to be saved to the altar. Not the truck, all this long vehicle. That's what we call truck. Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit to his mayor? Fleshly engagement. You want to do wedding, you are doing fleshly engagement. You want to get a job, you are doing a lot of fleshly engagement. No, engage spirit. Some physical things you need to do are there also to be able to appropriate after the spirit has released the substance. If the substance has not been released, you are just a struggler. The wedding you want to do, you must see it accomplished. They must deliver it accomplished in the spirit realm. Then you can with rest go into the wedding. It will be done. I don't care who says what. I saw answer before we get back to answer. I saw Ebenezer before we get back to Ebenezer. Each one of them, I saw them. The growth you are looking for, you must fight for it spiritually. It must be in your hand. Then it will happen. Otherwise, you just discover that as you are trying to get close to something, they just scatter. Anything you are trying to get close to is scattering. You have not gotten it spiritually. Go and conquer it in the spirit realm. It's a covenant. It's a spiritual thing. Covenant means a spiritual thing. That's the meaning. That's what I'm saying. Wealth and riches are a spiritual thing. They're very, very spiritual. Arume said there was a particular Christian man that was supposed to become a governor in their state. And they've done everything, and that guy was going to be elected. On the eve of election, one evil spirit contestant, evil spirit possessed contestant. How many of you heard that message from him? They went to do certain sacrifices. And in one night, overnight, election result changed in the direction of the evil spirit man. I know what he's talking about, I know. Somebody said he was in a bush sometime, because over there around Nigeria, when you are traveling, you can just enter into the bush to just park your car somewhere to go. He said he was in the bush, trying to do business. No, I used to do. It's the easiest, it's fine, more than water closet. He said he just calmed down and he saw important people entering into a bush, and they brought a girl into the bush, and they butchered the girl, and they started licking the blood. And he said one of them he could recognize was a governor in Nigeria. So if you're not speaking in LPP, all those your phonetic tongues, French, that you are pressing your phone. You are on your phone. French. You don't know life. You actually don't know life. You're going to be a long time in the wilderness. of struggle. God forbid. I saw that Mirella was not to graduate this year. Not only that they were to void her PhD. And I told her, that's why she has used one more academic year on a PhD that is supposed to be finished 4 years. She even had more chance. She didn't have to be going to school. During lockdown, she was in the house. See, they have more time to be able to finish things up. I had to take things up myself spiritually. Both talking to her physically and praying. But at a time, I had to tell her, I said, this thing, they have to void it. Offer was to taste prison for the first time in his life. And the devil arranged it in a big way. He himself could smell the rat. Immediately the first thing, put a sacrifice on the altar for God. We put it where it's supposed to be. Call all of our fathers, spiritual and physical, and say, they brought one sacrifice to the altar, but this altar does not have enough power for what is coming. So we link it up with the headquarters altar in Nigeria. They say it will be okay. They say, we give them names. I've been in a problem before. My father and the Lord said, give me name. I gave them name. It didn't take more than 2 days. The problem just stopped in less than 2 days. Serious problem that was supposed to be a network international. As soon as names were delivered. And you don't give them name prayer point without water, without the empty fire does not fall on an empty altar. All this pastor, pray for me. Those who go to witch doctor, they say pray for me, they just leave. They just leave. Baba will even add to your problem, that evil spirit. That as you're going. Let that be more problem that you came to disrespect his altar. So empty words on the altar. You don't do that. Fire doesn't fall on an empty altar. They knew it in the Old Testament. Saul, that is the second principle. The second principle is actually giving. Once you know that God has released covenant as you are praying, that's what, don't ever forget the principle of giving. But please, I'm not exalting the principle of giving above the principle of prayers. Prevailing in the spirit realm is, first of all, serious dimension. That thing you are now praying about, give a seed about it. Don't let anybody treat you. They say, our God is a free God. He doesn't take nothing from it. I just read Solomon to you. That he went to give 1,000 burnt offering. God came in the night by himself. He was not just praying, he was giving 1,000 burnt offering. It must have been a prayer on him, and God came in the night. I've felt the Lord before sometime, and he will say, David, what do you need? I just burst into tears. I say, And they will tell me if they don't want to do it, and if they want to do it, and what they will do to do it. You can corner God. We can bring God to a point where there is nothing but that he will speak. This guy that has suffered so much for God, he was a righteous man. He was faithful. God never found anybody like him. Only him and his wife and children remained after the flood, Noah. But when he came out of the remaining animals that he caught, he still came to sacrifice. Maybe he sacrificed male of this, male of this. Out of people, the animal that are supposed to reproduce again, he came to sacrifice. And the Bible said God smelled it and brought a covenant. So as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest will not cease. Don't just be looking at your destiny debilitating away. Don't be a taker, be a giver. My life is under the prayer cooker of giving. There is no week that I don't have a list. And as soon as any substance comes, giving is going. Both to men of God, churches of God, and to other people.